let's say $50,000 lot, potentially what it could be worth. We get it for under contract for 15.
All right.
We'll then put it on the marketplace, basic marketplace, or we might buy it for 15 and then sell it on the open marketplace, whatever. Usually we do this under contract. So we'll get under contract for 15. We'll put it on basic marketplace, $15,000 down, 500 a month for 6 years or for 5 years.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The total purchase price is.
Welcome to House Rich, the real estate show. We talk to average people that have done above average things in real estate. Today we're going to talk about Daniel Martinez, the co-founder of Hivemind. I'm going to talk about his entrepreneurial journey from he used to drive trucks, used to do a whole bunch of things, to being the co-founder of a tech platform, CRM Hivemind. So appreciate you being on with us, Daniel. Anything else you want to do to introduce yourself to the good folks here?
Truck driver, real estate, software. Kind of sums it all up. I think you got it.
Yes, I was, of course. I was reading your, and we'll jump back in a little bit further back into your origin story. But how do you even get to the point where you're setting up like a CRM platform? Like, do you have any like tech background at all, or how do you even get into that?
I guess I've always been kind of a techie type person. By no means am I a techie person, because that's like when I think of techie, I'm like nerdy people that build computers and stuff like that. Like, that's my brother. My brother's that person. Like, he's a data analyst for the government with like 2 degrees. I'm like, I have no degrees. I have nothing, nothing to that. I'm just a normal guy, man. It's one of those things. When you start the entrepreneurship journey, like paths get presented to you, and then you kind of take a path. So like people always ask me, like, what are you gonna be in 5 years? Like, I have no idea. The path I'm down right now, it kind of just appeared in front of me, and I'm on it right now. And it's just, it kind of free flows from there. So I fell into real estate and I fell into software, and there's really no way around that.
So as of like 2019, 20, you owned a trucking business, or you was in trucking at that point?
Yeah, so I used to I'm 30 now. I started loading trucks when I was like 19, 20 years old. Did that for a couple of years. I actually worked for the same company for I think almost 6 years.
Okay.
And they trained me how to drive trucks through that company. So I used to load trucks for them. And then they had a truck driver training program that I went through to learn how to drive trucks with them. So I drove trucks with them for 2 years. After 2 years, I left them and started my own trucking company and drove again for 2 more years. So I drove total 4 years.
Okay.
That was kind of like my transition point.
And then so just like and so I was reading kind of your bio. Your dad was basically saying that manual labor is not the thing to do, basically. And so is that kind of why you got out of the trucking? What made you say, hey, I want to get out of trucking? Was the business profitable? Was it doing well? Like, what made the transition from trucking to the digital space?
Literally, it was out of desperation. So desperation forces you to do things you don't want to do. And the reason why is that and when you come into business, all businesses are like good profit margins. Like, I didn't know that at first, but that's what it is. And trucking is just one of those businesses. So like on paper, a trucking business profitability is like 10% or less. Fortune 500 companies or Fortune 100 companies, like publicly traded companies, they're usually operating off a profit margin of 3% or less. $1 billion companies operating off 3%. So it's one of those things where like I didn't know it was that bad of a business. I kind of went through the fire, learned it, got my ass kicked a few times, and then pivoted into something else just because I had to. I lost my ass in trucking.
All right. Yeah, I used to work on the dispatching side for JB Hunt, but I had no clue the profit margins were that skinny. So
it's a pain in the ass business in general. From everybody's in your pockets when you're operating a business like that, and it's just it's a hard, man. And there's always so many up in the air variables. Like, I literally talked to my dispatcher today. He told me that one of his clients is still waiting to get paid on over 20 loads from one broker. That they're just not getting paid on. And that's the trucking business, man. It's just a pain in the ass.
Okay, gotcha. Is that we decide to kind of transition to the skip tracing part of your?
So I started real estate first. So I kind of went down the real estate rabbit hole first.
Okay.
And it was more of like I learned about wholesaling and just going through YouTube. When I was driving, I had a lot of time to my hands, so I would listen to podcasts and YouTube a lot. So I learned about wholesale real estate I took a 19-year-old's course on how to do real estate,
All
and
right.
then ended up doing my first deal like 6 months in, and that's how I got into real estate. From there, I learned about the data company, fell into a data company type thing where now I sell data nationwide for marketing, people that do marketing lists, and then from there I fell into software.
So how that first real estate deal go? Was that like a wholesaling deal, flip, or what happened there?
Yeah, it was a wholesale deal, so it was actually a land deal, which is kind of funny. That's how I met my partner,
Mm.
because we both took the same course, and we both were focusing on land, and that's how we ended up working together. But I was living in Atlanta at the time, and I was doing PPC, which is pay-per-click marketing,
Okay.
Google Ads, and seller, it lived in Atlanta, owned a property in Florida. Is like, hey, I'm getting all these citations from the city for garbage on the property, and I need to sell the property. So I found out I was worth about 20. I guess it was worth about 20,000. I really don't
Mhm.
know. I really didn't know at the time. So I was like, "Would you take $4,235.63?"
Yeah, something to seem precise. Like,
Yeah. And she's like, "Can you do 5,000?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I
Mhm.
locked it up for 5,000. Ended up selling it on Facebook Marketplace for 12 in two
Okay.
days.
So
And that's
how'd you even find their property to begin with? Like how they come across your?
it was PPC, pay per click.
Okay, the paper. Okay, got you.
Yeah, so it was pay per click marketing. That's how the lead came in. I was so scared to talk to the seller, I just emailed them. So I contracted it all through email. So it came in through Google Ads, and then I just emailed 15 emails in, had a contract, sold it all through email, never talked to the owner.
Okay, awesome. That's the ultimate sales deal. Not even having to talk to the customer. Um, and so was that part of like the skip tracing, or is that how you kind of got into that as a whole?
That's how I got into real estate. I mean, I didn't
Okay,
know nothing about real estate before that.
okay.
And I knew people were doing it. I knew it was a profitable thing, but you don't know what you don't know. So
Could you actually explain what the skip tracing is and kind of what how you do it, or and basically what is it exactly?
So skip tracing is your in short form is your information is everywhere. Everybody's information is everywhere online. So essentially, if you have anybody's first name, last name, and a mailing address, you can find out their phone number, email address, and that's the process of skip tracing. So
Okay,
what we do as investors is we'll pull giant lists of homeowners or property owners, landowners in certain areas. We'll skip trace it, which is in the process of getting their phone number and email, and then we'll market to them directly to get a uh, below market deal to
okay,
make money on.
okay. And so like because I've always heard that term. I never really dove into it. So like when people are doing wholesaling and they're finding like abandoned lots, is that what they're doing to find the owner, or are they finding the lots with the skip tracing? Does it work both ways?
So everything is public information. So if you go to whatever county you live in, let's say it's I used to live in Georgia, so Henry County, Georgia. You can go to Henry County, Georgia tax assessor. There's literally a public forum to actually search properties in that whole county, and it's for every county nationwide that you can find out who owns that property. It's all public information.
Okay.
So you can find, hey, John Smith owns 123 Main Street. His mailing address is 567 Johnson Street. So I put 123 I put 567 Johnson Street with John Smith, put it through the skip tracing process, and it usually spits out a number in an email.
Okay. And so okay, so I'm going to kind of jump back to that in a second, but now I want to kind of fast forward to Hivemind. And so what makes you think, hey, I should start a CRM? Like,
You fall into it, man. I had the opportunity was presented to myself, and the one thing that we were in real estate, and there's other products and services out there, but they're really difficult to use.
uh-huh,
Really difficult to use. And when here's a statistic, like 86% of businesses don't use a CRM, and it takes them 5 years. Like 50% of businesses start using a CRM after 5 years.
hmm
So they're doing spreadsheets, they're doing paper, they're doing scratch paper. Like that's no way to build a business. You can't
yeah,
control, nurture, and market to these potential clients, no matter what business you're in. So when we were in real estate, we had to do the same thing for potential sellers, and we were struggling to coordinate and bring in those leads in general to convert, because it can get pretty chaotic when you're texting, emailing, cold calling thousands of people. Like, it gets crazy. You don't remember conversations, you don't remember nothing. Follow-up's a nightmare, and it just gets crazy after that. So the Hivemind CRM opportunity came about. We took advantage of it, and now like the CRM has changed my businesses in general, because now I'm more optimized. I'm able to control and automate my business, my marketing. All that stuff is controlled under one system, and now I can do more and have more flexibility to do more. So it really controls your output, and that's what all the CRM does.
Okay, and yeah, it obviously kind of essentially pays for itself. But could you talk about what are some of the aspects of the CRM? Like what is all under that Hivemind roof?
Sure. So the average business, and this is from Torrance. Torrance told me this one. The average business uses like 30 different systems. Average business, average small business uses 30 different systems. But what's a system? It could be your email platform. It could be your website platform. It could be your texting platform. It could be your course platform. It could be all these different things that just aren't connected at all. So you have to coordinate and manage all those things. They don't talk to each other, so it's hard to do that. So Hivemind is one of those things that kind of brings a lot of those services together. That way you can combine and control a lot of those automations. Is all done internally. If you're not doing stuff internally, it goes out to Zapier, and you can kind of really create any limitless opportunities. So Hivemind comes with texting, emailing, calling, a dialer, websites, website hosting, emails, email builders, and like backend automations to work with cohesively with all that stuff. Okay. And like that's just tip of the iceberg. But it's one of those things where like if you're thinking about like, hey, I wish when a lead came in, I wish I had the lead came in, text that person, email that person, add a task to my team member to do ABC, and then send a checkout page, create checkout pages, collect money, send invoices. That's what Hivemind does. It does all that stuff all in one thing. We have an app, and you can just coordinate and control all that stuff through automation and through your app and phone and desktop.
Okay, cool. And you also have like a Facebook community. Can you talk about like some, because I see you post stuff. I think it's cool because I don't really see you post about like your wins, but you'll post like, hey, somebody made 6 figures this month. Like you talk about some of the wins in the community you have.
Man, the community is the best part of the software. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just a software, it doesn't do much. But like the community part is like the underrated aspect of the Hivemind in general. And that's one of the big reasons why the Hivemind's amazing. So like if you look at my screen, I got these little brains around me. Yes, it's the logo, but it's a representation of everybody that contributes to the Hivemind. So we grow infinitely smarter. So it's kind of an underlying statement of the Hivemind, including with the logo and the branding of it. But the community is amazing, man. We've had 10 clients do over 6-figure months. I get like testimonial pictures like every day. It feels like I definitely get 2 to 3 a week, and it's like they're not like repeat screenshots or nothing. This is all new stuff that just came in yesterday or today, and it's pretty amazing. So we had a client close 200K in a month. We've had 10 go over 6 figures in a month. We probably have like 2 or 3 contenders that are close to $1 million. I haven't confirmed that, but I know they're pretty close considering they've done multiple 6 figures, multiple months. And like I said, we're only a year and a half into it. So to make millionaires in under a year, and these clients didn't start with us when we started. They're usually 6 months to 9 months out since we started. So people are getting that much traction that fast. It's really become like, if we have 10 people that can make 6 figures in a month, we can potentially have thousands.
Yeah. And so what are they doing? And it may not be the same for everyone, but they're finding like deals with the subscription. Like what are they actually like doing to earn these?
So it's all property. Real estate is such an amazing niche to be in because you can find huge wins and opportunities with real estate. So like the client I interviewed yesterday, he got 2 houses in Hivemind using Hivemind. He ended up buying both of them. He sold one, just bought it and sold it, didn't do nothing to it, sold it retail. And the other one, he like trashed it out and sold it. So 2 deals, made $200,000 in a month. And that's just being the ability to market, find a good deal, purchase it, and then sell it to the open market. So real estate, there's huge opportunity to make $10,000 to $100,000 on one deal. I had a client last month make $100K on one deal.
Oh wow.
On one deal. So like $100K is life-changing money. I mean, the
Yeah,
average American makes $50,000 or less.
yeah,
Imagine if you get 2 years salary with one transaction.
yeah.
That's a huge opportunity.
And so like I said, your experience may vary if you're listening, but like, do these people have like, are they experienced? Are they new? Or are they just kind of coming into the community? Like what is like the average background of somebody putting up those?
It's a little mix of both, man.
Uh,
I'll tell you, as a new client. So I had a client, he's been with us maybe about 6 months, no experience in real estate, came in, he's a roofer, part-time roofer, still a part-time roofer. He's been doing real estate part-time using our leads that we provide him, which are PPC leads. So now we're in the business of, we have the system to get leads. Now we're providing leads for people. So for him, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're delivered instantly. So this kid, he's 22, part-time real estate, full-time roofing sales. He's done 10 deals in 6 months, and he's generated over 60,000 in revenue, part-time real estate.
and not bad. And so I've seen you talk about kind of creative financing, kind of buying stuff with like no money down, or can you explain that a little bit? You know, I think you like buy land and then sell it for more than you bought it with, so it's kind of like no money down. Can you talk about some like the creative financing?
Sure. So the reason why we like land is because there's no attachment to it. Um, there's no attachment to the property. So like if Susie inherits grandma's property, she grew up in the house and visited the house when she was younger and played on grandma's lap, all that stuff. There's a physical attachment. She knows if I inherit that house, I can put it on Airbnb, I can sell it, I can rent it. There's options, you know? So the reason why we like land is because we can get creative opportunities a lot easier. So what we like doing with creative finance with land is what determines the value of a property. It's the recent sales in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Houses, everybody knows what it's worth because there's so many houses around that sold and recently because they change hands so often that house is worth $250,000, give or take 5-10,000, and it's pretty dead on. Like there's pretty verifiable comps in really popular markets that's what it's worth. With land, you get the opposite because it doesn't sell. So you can honestly create a number. Since money's fake, we create opportunity. So with land, they have no attachment to it. So let's say with houses, you generally have to get like 50, 60 cents on the dollar and minus repairs, and that's going to be a deal for houses. Okay. With land, we're trying to get it 50% or less right off the bat, maybe 10 to 20% depending on the property. Like we've gotten property literally deeded to us for free because they didn't want it. But with land, so we're trying to get it for like 25% or less. We can usually get a good deal, 10 to 25% on the 10 to 25% of the full asking of the property worth that I mean. Okay, so let's say you have a.
When you're saying 25% of this, or the stuff that somebody got free, I need one of those deals. Are we talking about the sales price or just the value that you think the land is worth?
Yeah. So let's say you get a property that's worth potentially $50,000, right? We try and get that property for $5,000 to $15,000.
But so how are you coming up with $50,000 if there's like no comps, or they're hard to find the comps?
We do a price per acre. We just do like a roundabout guestimate of what it could be worth. I mean, it's recent sales, recent price per acre. If it's larger lots, if it comes with utilities, there's a lot of different varying factors that come with that.
Gotcha.
And it's going to be really, really loosely based because there's lots that might sell for 50,000, and then there's a random comp that sold for 250. And it's literally like a unicorn, but somebody paid 250 for it. Yeah. I don't know why they did, but they paid 250 for it. So like we totally discount that unicorn out because like that doesn't make sense. Like, everything else is selling for 50,000 an acre. Why'd that one sell for 250? That's crazy. Okay, we're just gonna stay over here and not ignore that one because that one was crazy. So what we do is $50,000 lot. We're trying to pick up for 10, $15,000 or less. The beauty of that is that the buyers are always asking for a cash price in most cases.
Okay.
Because if they were to go list it on the MLS for $50,000, it might sit for 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the honest truth. So, and it might be worth $50,000. It's just that it might take a year, or might take a year to 2 years for a guy to come buy it at $50,000.
Uh-huh.
So what we do is, if we get it negotiated if we get a really good deal on the front end, then we can owner finance it. So let's say we get it for $15,000, we can go put it on marketplace for $50,000, $60,000 or $15,000 down. Because one of the problems that people have with land is they can't finance it, so they have to come with cash. So people come with cash, they're always asking for a deal more than what it's worth. So if you become the bank, you can essentially sell it for whatever you want.
Gotcha. Okay, so you find a land, you find some land. We say you own or finance it. Can you kind of explain how that process?
Sure. So let's say $50,000 lot, potentially what it could be worth. We get it for under contract for 15.
Right.
We'll then put it on the marketplace, Facebook marketplace, or we might buy it for 15 and then sell it on the open marketplace, whatever. Usually we do this under contract. So we'll get under contract for 15. We'll put it on Facebook marketplace, $15,000 down, $500 a month for 6 years or for 5 years.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The total purchase price is $60,000. Okay. And that's just like you probably check my numbers. I'm probably wrong, but that's how we'll do it. $15,000 down. What do you do with that? Well, $15,000 go straight to the seller, and then I collect $500 a month for doing nothing.
Okay.
For creating opportunity. And what the seller's happy because he got his cash. The potential buyer's happy because he didn't have to come with the full $50,000 down, and then you just collect $500 a month for 6 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's wow. That's a move. Okay. Wow. Uh-huh.
So you can do that with any type of property. And then you can sell that note for cash. So when you create mortgage notes, you can sell that note for cash because people buy at certain interest rates. So it potentially, let's say you sold that lot for $60,000 for $15,000 down. You now have a $35,000 or $45,000 note. You can then sell that $45,000 note to a note buyer for probably $40,000 or $38,000, and you still get paid cash.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, there it goes. Wow, that's how you essentially get land for free. That's a good move. And so basically, you get it under contract, you put it on the marketplace, you get the money, and then you pay the contract with the money. And that I know you can't give like an official timeline, but typically is that done pretty quickly? Like, are you holding the property though, or
so
kind of varies?
Land moves a lot slower. So whenever we lock up properties, like houses, you have to move them like in 30 days or less. Land, we're locking these up for 90 days.
Okay.
Minimum. 90 days minimum. Like we locked up a property last year for a year.
Okay, gotcha.
Like we'll lock up these properties for a year. So technically, like what we do a lot now is like we'll just message sellers and like, hey, how much you want for your land? Well, I want 60,000 for it. Like, all right, we'll give you 60,000. We just need 6 months.
Okay.
And we'll just, once we have it under contract, it's taken like an option, and then we just put it out there and see what happens. If nobody bites on it, and we're like, hey, Mr. Seller, 60,000 is too much. Could you take 45?
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll
Gotcha.
negotiate at that point. But like, it's one of those things where like, if you can create a win-win opportunity, they're going to take it. So we've done this a few times where we'll be like, let's say they want 50,000 for the lot. Hey, Mr. Seller, if we give you $1,000 and let's say he wants 30,000. Well, normally we would want a cash price of 15. Hey, Mr. Seller, we'll give you $30,000 if we give you $1,000 and give you maybe $100 a month, and we'll give you a balloon of 1 year or 2 years. What that does is you essentially got control over property for $1,000. You give them $100 a month or whatever that amount of money is. Then you take control of the property. You essentially have the deed. You can sell it for whatever you want.
Okay. Got you. Maybe a month or so ago, I saw you did like the MTV Cribs with like this mansion you have like in San Antonio. Is that like your like down south headquarters, or what happened with that property?
So we got that. We have a list that is a bulk data list. It's if you've given your name and email to CVS Pharmacy, they've sold your information, and we probably bought it.
Okay.
So we had this Texas list that we just hit up. seller wanted 750 for this property
Mhm.
in Texas, and it needed a lot of repairs. It was like a 5,000 square foot house.
Mhm.
It's a 5 bed, 9 bath house, 5,000 square feet.
Mhm.
It was listed with a realtor, and we bought it subject to,
Okay.
which means is that it was subject to the existing mortgage. We bought it with like 10 grand out of pocket.
Okay.
So we gave the seller 10 grand. They transfer over the deed to us, and then we're paying off the mortgage on their behalf. And we just pay the mortgage, and we're giving them payments on the side for whatever that split was between the mortgage and the purchase price. But we essentially got control of that property for 10 grand. And it's
Okay. Okay. Dope. And are you working out of that? I know you mentioned you may turn it into an Airbnb or kind of what?
it's our office. It's
Oh,
actually our office. We have it on Airbnb, and we have it on VRBO, and we have it on there's like a short-term rental place that you can do like hourly rentals for like parties and stuff, because we've had parties there. So let's put it on the party site too. So we're trying to make revenue out of it.
is it
We're
like
probably gonna
Peer
build
Space or someplace else you guys got?
yeah. What's that called? Space?
Peer Space.
Peer Space. We put it on Peer Space. It's on Airbnb, and we have it on a bunch of different places. But it's a really cool property. It's on a double lot. It's literally out of place in the whole neighborhood. Like the neighborhood's kind of ghetto, in my opinion. But it's like a freaking mansion in the middle of the ghetto.
Uh-huh.
But we're monetizing it.
Okay. It's funny, like where I live, like Deion Sanders has a house like, or he had a house like that, where it's like this, um, it's kind of like an average neighborhood, but like there's
It
this
doesn't fit
huge,
in.
yeah, there's this huge mansion, and I remember hearing about it like a couple years ago, and then my wife and I were driving, and I was like, what is that mansion that no one seems to be living in? Because he just moved out, and I was like, oh, that must be Dion's house. Like it just stood out. I know you're talking, it just stood out so much. It was like, I guess cool for him, but it makes no sense like in that area where it's located at.
And that's what that property is. So we pretty much got it. We got a $750,000 house for 10 grand that we're making payments on, and we're just monetizing it. And it's our office.
Got you. So what's kind of the next moves is just kind of keep on pushing with the Hivemind. Any of the conference coming up, I think in Florida, if I get that right.
Yeah, so we do a live event each year. One, at least right now, we're doing one live event each year. This year is going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
Okay.
August 25th and 26th, and then we're next year we're probably doing Phoenix,
Okay.
2023. But we kind of bounce around throughout the U.S. Like last year was Dallas, our first one, and this year's Florida. So we're going East Coast, West Coast, Central Texas, based off of where our clients are generally at. So we're excited about that.
Gotcha. What can folks expect? Is it just real estate talk? Like what can folks expect? Sorry, I can't talk.
It's varying, man. We do, like I said, we do a lot of real estate, but I mean, a lot of our clients aren't real estate people. We have a lot of attorneys, roofers. We have, you name it, different types of clients. So we help a lot of different businesses in general automate their business. But we do a lot of different types of calls too. Sometimes we're talking about business structure, taxes. We did a training yesterday on sales training that you can probably use for anything. And we do a lot of trainings, a lot of time to give information back to the people. So no matter what type of business you're in, you can learn something.
Gotcha. Thank you. And so my last question for you is, if you had $1 million and you had a week to spend it on real estate or real estate related stuff, what would you use it for?
Marketing.
All right.
And the reason why is because marketing is your best ROI to make more money.
Okay.
No matter what business you're in.
Gotcha. There you have it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're the first person to actually say to not mention a physical object. But yeah, it makes sense. You spend marketing, you get a great CRM, and you get it back tenfold or whatever fold you want to say. So where can folks find you at? Where can folks find your products at?
So we have a $1 course. You can text us at 210-972-1842. Just text the keyword course. It's how to make 6 figures on a land deal. It's literally $1. Check it out. Once you do that, you get invited to our private Facebook group. We're on all social media channels. if you think you've probably been on it once, we're probably on it.
All right.
And that's where we post all our social media. So we're even on Pinterest, TikTok, Twitch. We're everywhere.
All right.
Hivemind CRM. Check us out.
What is Twitch? I always hear about that. I don't even know what that is. Is that a
So Twitch is actually a streaming platform
okay?
that is most notably known for gamers.
Oh,
which
okay, yeah,
are
that's what I
video
hear.
games.
Okay.
But podcasts have been popping up on it, and that's where we post our podcasts.
Huh, okay, there you go. And learned another thing today. So appreciate it. So yeah, appreciate your time. A wealth of knowledge there. So like I said, all that information will be in the bio to sign up. So I'll be a hive minder if that's the name of it by the time you listen to this podcast as well. So appreciate your time. If you all enjoyed the podcast, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, share with a friend. That's how we get the message out to more people. And as always, buy land. Rumor has it that I'm making any more of it. So see you all next week. Thank you. Thanks for your time.